Hello again, my friends, and you are my friends, and welcome to your ITFC match preview ahead of tomorrow night's home game against Rotherham. Can Town make it 9 points from 9? Can it be a 12-point week? Would love to have your comments this evening, rather. So do please get active in our live chat. Let us know if you're confident, how you're feeling ahead of tomorrow night's game. We've got a Rotherham fan joining us at some point as well. If you're watching on catch up, what does it always say? FTA, comment for that algorithm, like, subscribe. Must start tonight's show, of course, by wishing Tony Mowbray all of the best and a speedy recovery. Thoughts are with you. Town's opponents Birmingham on Saturday, but sending our thoughts and our love out to an absolute legend of a man in Tony Mowbray. Please do get active in our live chat. Before we go any further, we are partnered with Match Bingo. Play Match Bingo, win cash prizes. Are you a sports enthusiast who loves football and cricket and you want to support the life-saving work of the East Anglian Air Ambulance at the same time? Of course you do. If you do, follow how to play on your screen right now. Register online, download the Match Bingo app onto your phone, your tablet, and then choose your matches. There'll be midweek games tomorrow, £2 a bingo card. There's a free bingos game. Not sure that's on tomorrow night, but do check the app. Sean at the weekend won £50 off Match Bingo. So big up, Sean. I'm sure he's still absolutely buzzing off it. Over 18s, be gamble aware. Play Match Bingo and support the East Anglian Air Ambulance. Lee Finchy says big 6 points needed this week. Colin says big Tony Mowbray, absolute legend. Get well soon, pal. Charlie says 4-0 Town tomorrow. Charlie is feeling the positivity, whereas Promotion Given says evening all nervy 1-0 methinks. Hamish says 2-0 tomorrow. If we don't get an early goal, it could be a grind. Love the comments coming in. Do get active. Joining me this evening is the man, the myth, the absolute legend, the peaky one, Mark Tuxford. Mark, how are you, sir?
Yeah, good, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm all right. Yeah, we've got some sort of variations of scores in there, from the confident to the nervy. We'll start with the Monday check-in. Game just gone. Town winning on the road. Not the vintage performance that you normally would see, perhaps in the second half from Town. How did you see it sitting here now on the Monday night?
Well, I mean, sitting here on a Monday night has been a good week for us.
Certainly has.
When you think about, I think it's a bit of a tough trip to go to Millwall, midweek, albeit, Millwall aren't on a great run of form themselves. But, this is, I think, at the stage of the season where you do see those types of teams that are at the lower ends of the table. They come into their own, don't they? They seem to sort of wake up a little bit and, play for their survival. So,
well, they're scrapping, aren't they?
Yeah, and
Rotherham's out. They're scrapping to stay in.
Yeah, Rotherham's the same, and albeit they're probably gone now, but they're playing for pride at the very least. So yeah, in answer to your question, yeah, I think it's been a good week for us. And yeah, I think again, Swansea's another tough place to go. But as I keep saying every week on on this type of show, is that there's no easy game, is it?
There isn't an easy game in the Championship. And of course, you're not only on Talking Town, you are also on the radio. Give it a little cheeky plug there, Tux. Where can people hear your pre-match musings on a Saturday morning?
Well, I mean, I do a little bit on Gen X Radio, various other sort of channels sometimes as well. But there's no better than Talking Town. So there's your exclusive.
As he slides the brown envelope across the table. Well done. I like that. But yes, Gen X Radio, you can hear Tux if you do like Tux's opinions. Yeah, I mean, Swansea, tough place to go. It was backs to the wall job second half, but we showed a real strong metal to our game. We stood up against the pressure and we came through it with 3 points, 6 points on the week. You can't ask for much more. And yes, Millwall lost against Wednesday, Saturday. Yes, Millwall in a poor run of form, as was Swansea, I guess, coming in. But we had to play the team in front of you. And often as Town fans, Tux, we've seen Town play down, not play to what it can do.
Yeah, well, we saw in League One last year, teams that try and stop us playing by putting 10 men behind the ball. And to a certain extent, teams that are doing that in the Championship this year, they seem to do a higher team that's looking to defend against us, like maybe a West Brom or something like that. Yeah. But I think sometimes we do struggle when there's lots of pressure on us, because one thing I have noticed since McKenna's come in is that we put a lot more pressure on teams than we never used to do that. But Absolutely. Sometimes we get that come in our face, and we tend to struggle a little bit sometimes with that.
Yeah, we absolutely do. So I was just replying to the management. Did I lock up? I think I did. So if you're watching this, just go and check the back door. But David said, won't be an easy game tomorrow, but I still expect us to win tomorrow night 2-0. Adrian, agree early goal will set the tone. Yeah, tomorrow night then, looking ahead to before I do, who's your standout performer from Saturday? Who one player really impressed you?
I think based on the sort of snippets that I saw, I thought Hutchinson, for me, offers that something different. I like the fact that obviously Chaplin got his 100th goal of his career or something like that. But
yeah, 50th, 100th of his career, 50th for Town, I believe.
Yeah, and I'm really impressed by him. I thought he was a great signing when he first came, and I think he sort of started off injured, didn't he, when he first came in? But
yeah, exactly.
He's really gone on to be a very important player, probably a legend by the time he's finished with us. So yeah, as I say, I think probably more Hutchinson in the last couple of games, but probably Swansea, maybe Harry Clark. I think he gets a lot of stick, and sometimes it sort of feels that if he wasn't an Ipswich fan, if he wasn't so part of the kind of culture of Ipswich, would he be playing? But he does get there on merit. I don't think McKenna's not a silly man, is he? He's not going to just pick him because he's an Ipswich fan. So, but everyone makes mistakes in this team, and the way we play, we are going to make mistakes. But it's trying to not make certain players a scapegoat if we do lose a game or have a bad run of form. It's very easy to do that. Don't get me wrong. I've been sort of critical of Harry Clark in previous games, but I think when you look at it over the season, he plays that role where he has to get forward a lot, so he is going to leave that space in behind him. I suppose the only thing I would say is that he can be a bit skeptical at the back in terms of his actual defending, but generally, you've got to give it to him, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. It's sort of coming really into a fine vein of form really at the moment, isn't it? Which is the perfect time for Town, particularly with the lack of options in the fullback berth. It's good to have a fit Clark. It's looking really fit. He's managing that Achilles injury early part of the campaign, but he's looking fitter. He's looking like he's back to the Clark that we had the back end of last year after the January window, really, isn't it?
Yeah, well, when you've got someone like Brandon Williams breathing down your neck, and he's obviously come from United and wants to play games, and he did have that kind of patch at the start of the season where he did play well and he was keeping Clark out of the team, on merit. So it'd be interesting to see what role Williams has to play now. I don't know when he's actually back at the club. I think when it was the close of the transfer window, they said it was going to be a couple of weeks. He's still not here, so that will be interesting to see. But Williams has got a lot to do, isn't he, to get Clark?
He certainly has. Yeah, he certainly has. Obviously, we're at home tomorrow, Portman Road. Big enough Portman Road. Before we get to Rotherham, the Tractor Girls will play the first match at Portman Road, the 23rd of March. Great news. That is what we've all been sort of asking for, expecting to be happening for a while. It's finally happening. That international break, the Town men's team aren't playing. It's just phenomenal, really, and it's a good start to hopefully many more to come, right?
Yeah, I think it should be the case for every club, if they're not doing it already, is having the women's side play at the men's home ground. And obviously it might be a bit tough on the pitch sometimes, but yeah, I think it's a long time coming, and it would be good to see a good crowd go and watch them as well.
All 4 stands open.
Yeah, so great. This is going to be, if not already, part of the heartbeat of the club moving forward. So, for both men's and women's sides. So yeah, it's good to see.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got some comments. We've got Mike D. Burns on a change for me for Amari. Rax Match Rotherham, I think, will park the bus. Have Town now developed enough to break the block early? If so, it could be a rout. If not, then we fans need to be patient. Could be 1-0 or 5-0. What are your expectations heading off? We've got the Rotherham fans joining us at some point through the show to give us the latest. But looking at the league table, knowing what you know about Rotherham already, what are your expectations heading in for tomorrow night?
I think it will be a tough game. As I say, every game is tough in this league, but I suppose it sort of worries me a little bit that when you go into a game like this, you kind of there's a danger of thinking you've sort of already half played the game and half won the game, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So I'm hoping we approach it with respect in the way we should approach games, all games really. But but yeah, I don't think it will be a high scoring game. I think it will probably be like a, maybe a 2-0 or something like that. But I would say, I suppose, just before the Rotherham fan comes on, I think it's such a tricky club, isn't it? Like when you look at it from the outside's point of view, that they're sort of like too good for League One, maybe not so good enough for the Championship. I don't know, but it's
yo-yo between
yeah,
the
it
two
must be
leagues.
so frustrating being a Rotherham fan, especially in probably the last 5 or 6 years. And obviously they had players like Freddie Ladapo and they had Michael Smith at one stage banging goals in for him. So I think it's strange how teams can't just adapt in a way, or they don't build their squad to adapt further in that league.
Yeah, they're a funny club because obviously we've seen it from both sides, haven't we? We've seen it from the League One perspective where they've come down and gone straight back up again, and we're all sort of sitting on the shows and saying, why can't Town do that? Why have Town found it as so much more difficult than say a Rotherham when they come down?
Well, I remember being in League One before when Rotherham were with us, and certainly in the first couple of years that we were down there, Rotherham was always a tough place to go. Especially midweek, but they always had like I think Joe Roy used to say, didn't they? They had like a load of giants in the team. And I used to say that about Stoke as well. But Rotherham's another club like that in sort of previous years that you could sort of associate that with. But yeah, I think it would be good to sort of hear his thoughts on what he thinks his club is doing at the moment and where it's going, because what Norwich are like. They're yo-yo side in the previous years, but it's not going into the Premier League, is it? It's chopping and changing between Championship and League One.
It's the wrong sort of yo-yo, I guess, because a lot of fans would take being a yo-yo for a couple of years from the Premier League to the Championship. It's that wrong sort of yo-yo. And you're right. When the fan does get here, we'll ask that question. But Paul P said we must win this game. Hamish, Rotherham have drawn at Southampton and have proved to be an awkward opponent in several games. Needs to be patient and not allow any breakaways like Maidstone. Colin says positive minds needed. I mean, the league table can be a false sense of security because it reads Rotherham are, currently the 24th best side in the league, 19 points. But we went to their place and we came unstuck. We did walk away with all three. So there's always that possibility, always that chance in football. That's what we love football for. And you're right, we've got to take it in the right mindset, got to take it in the right approach. And I'm sure McKenna will do that. I've got no doubts under McKenna that this is a club that will take every game as serious as the last and as the next. But in terms of changes for tomorrow, off the back of 2 away victories, are you looking to freshen it up? Are you saying go again? What would your mindset be going in if you were the gaffer?
It's difficult, isn't it? I think when you approach it from McKenna's mindset, he's very tactical in his approach. He's very methodical in that sense. So, you do see a change sort of spring here and there. That's maybe not what you sort of predict. But, I think from what we know as a fan base, I think you could probably see maybe someone like Burns come in.
For Amari? Or do you play Amari centrally? I mean,
potentially, yeah.
So many options, haven't we?
Yeah, I mean, you'd think that Chaplin would get the nod again, obviously getting his goal the other day. It's difficult to tell. But, I mean, I guess... What
would you do?
I mean, the back five picks itself, doesn't it? I mean, at the moment, the back five picks itself, right?
So no Fridge returning for you at home, having sat out 2 games. You're not tempted. I mean, Burgess obviously man of the match on Saturday for many, me included.
He's probably our best defender at the moment in terms of probably form, at the very least. But yeah, back five picks itself. Morsey picks himself. You could probably.
Do you go with Travis alongside Morsey?
Yeah, you could bring Travis in potentially, but I think there's Morsey and Luongo have got that partnership now, and it's sort of locked in.
Can Maz do 3 games in the space of a week?
Yeah, true. Yeah, I suppose so. So you could see maybe a Travis come in, but I suppose maybe another question mark would be, do you start Sarmiento instead of Broadhead again, who's played, quite a lot of games in quick succession? Does he get a rest? Does he want to sort of kill Rotherham with a bit of pace? So that's where it sort of changes, I suppose. Obviously, I think Kiefer Moore starts, but I agree.
I agree
There's
with
probably
that one,
only 3 or 4 that could sort of chop and change, but then they'll come on in the second half anyway. It seems to me that McKenna does he starts his sort of preferred 3 for that game, and then he'll bring on the 3 attackers in the second half as well. So, yeah, could go either way.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, the subs bench, we all know the stat in terms of goals from the bench. Mike D says here, by the way, Tux wants Miz back, I've heard.
No.
Clearly, no. Oh, well, yeah, you never know. You could, never know. Hamish says, play our best side. If the game was won by 60 minutes, we can rest the main men like Morsey and Broadhead. I think Broadhead is an interesting one because he's in a real fine run of form now.
Yeah, but why is that? Why is that? You see someone like Kiefer Moore, someone like George Hurst, who's up top. Those type of strikers bring the best out of Nathan Broadhead, and that's fact. But
yep,
I think it's how long he can actually last in a game, because he can be a bit sort of injury prone. He's had sickness and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, we'll have to see with that one, I think.
Yeah, and that's the interesting thing. You got the fatigue, the injury, the sports science. Old school head me just says he's in a fine run of form.
Yeah,
I play him. I start him.
Yeah.
I don't take him out because he's in that fine run of form. Let's get 60 out of him. Let's get 45 out of him if that's all the sports scientist tells me he can do, Tux. But he's in such a everything at the moment turns to gold with Nathan Broadhead. And he's in that form we saw the back end of last year. It was League One, but the back end of last year where everything he touched turned to gold. Everything he was a part of was success. And when you get a player like that back in the form, you don't old school head again. I know new school thinking is not like that, but old school head tells me, don't take him out, don't sit him, don't let him get cold, as the old saying would be. Keep him warm, keep him purring. But the options are there. You've got Jeremy Sarmiento. You've not brought in to sit on the bench. You've got that option there who's just as good a player. Trickery, pace. It's really how we're going to try and hurt Rotherham. And we've got a wonderful super chat here from David Bergen, €50. David, thank you ever so much, my friend. I really honestly appreciate that. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Lisa Halaki, Clark, Wolfie, Burgess, Davis, Morsey, Travis, Burns, Broadhead, Chaplin, and more. Let's find out from the Rotherham's perspective and then see how perhaps we could look to hurt Rotherham. Is Mick joining us from New York Talk. Mick, welcome in. How you doing?
I'm all good, mate. Are you?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. What's going down at Rotherham? Because we've just been saying you're a club that, you find League One so easy, and then someone turns the FIFA setting up on you when you get promoted, and it doesn't go to plan. What's going on?
I've no idea, mate. I've absolutely no idea. We started this season off full of optimism, and it's just gone from bad to worse. It's just been appalling. I don't know. I've been sat here listening to your chat about who you're going to play, where, what positions, who you might rest. Don't bother. You'll be fine.
Okay. But after I had that from opposition fans, I mean, last time we played, you obviously had a different manager. So let's talk about that. Liam Richardson now is the gaffer in charge. We know him a little bit because we all wanted him to come with Cookie when Paul Cook was in charge. He never came. He was in charge at Wigan. Had some success there. The points, deduction hurt him and took Wigan down. How have you taken to Richardson and what's it like under him now?
I like him. I like him a lot. It's getting mixed reviews at the moment because obviously you'll be aware of our away form, which is, I don't think we've won away since 1786 or 1787, something like that. It just feels such a long time. And under Matt Taylor, away we were just woeful. So bad. Liam Richardson came in and he really shored us up away from home, and he made us far more organised, difficult to break down, and we started picking up a few points away from home, single points, not wins. But unfortunately, what the sort of the culmination of that is that we play the same way at home as well, and. Instead of attacking teams at home, we don't. We just sort of sit back and hope to get them on the break. Confidence is just at an all-time low. I've never seen a squad of players with so little confidence, because when you actually look individually through the squad, there's some quality players in there, some reasonable quality championship players, and there is no way that as a group of individuals they should be where they are. Unfortunately,
because you did open the checkbook a little bit, didn't you? For in terms of the summer recruitment, that's why you were so optimistic, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And the like Sean Morrison, who admittedly is knocking on, is hugely experienced at this level. We brought in Cafu from Forest, who again is an experienced player at this level. Sam Klukas, you know, and obviously we've got Victor Janssen in goal as well. So and there are other players in the mix, and you know there are some championship quality players in there. But just from the opening salvos of the season, it just felt like we kept getting knocked and knocked and knocked. We had an horrific run of injuries. With Cam Humphreys was out for probably 4 months, I think, with a really bad hamstring tear. Tyler Blackett, within a week, was out with exactly the same thing. And they've been fantastic at the start of the season at the back there. And then we ended up with Grant Hall back there, who is slower than Sean Morrison in terms of his pace. And he's made of glass, unfortunately. So he was out injured within a couple of weeks. We brought in Daniel Ayala on a free. He got sent off twice, I think, in his first 4 games. And after the last sending off, which was a ridiculous sending off at Plymouth, he suddenly developed an Achilles injury that kept him out for the rest of the season, and he's been let go. So at the back, we were all over the place. Thankfully now Cam Humphreys is back, so we might get to see him for a few games before he leaves us in the summer. But defensively, we start to shore it up now under Liam Richardson. So I don't think we're going to be that tough to beat for you lads, though. I'll be honest.
Well, it sounds like you've gone for sort of belts and buckle braces approach in terms of getting points on the board, be that at home or away. You're looking to be solid, and build off something, which I suppose in your position is understandable. You're looking to nick something on the break in a lot of games, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Liam Richardson's tried to stop the rot essentially.
Yeah,
and he's kind of been successful at that. Certainly away from home. We're not losing 4 and 5-0 anymore like we did at Watford. I mean, we played Watford on Saturday, and they have got to be, based on Saturday's performance, the worst team we've played all season, and yet they still beat us. I mean, it was a fantastic goal. Yeah, it was a fantastic goal. But and I said this on our podcast. Any other time, there are 11 defenders behind that ball. Any other time, it's going to take a nick and go into row Z, but it doesn't. It just goes arrows straight into the top corner. We played Hull the other night, and the goal that's been all over social media is the best goal that we ever scored. It's actually an own goal. Any other time that would have gone sailing over the bar, or the defender would have missed it. It would have gone wide, which is where it was going. So you don't get the look when you're down there. We all know that, and it's not something that we complain about. It is what it is, isn't it? So, but you've got to make your own look to a degree by being a little bit more positive. And Richardson's not. Yeah, he's not really sort of. He's not really doing that at the moment.
We've all been there. We've all been there. Previous managers, I could name them, but I won't. So, what is your thoughts on Town, Nick? Obviously, you see us come up and a phenomenally great season. A miracle season in a lot of regards. But so, what are your thoughts as a Rotherham fan looking ahead to tomorrow night on Town?
Looking at tomorrow, I'm just waiting for Wednesday, to be honest. Because I cannot see us getting anything at all out of the game for obvious reasons. The form that you're in and the form that we're in. Having said that, football is just one of those games, isn't it? That we'll go and make a dirty 1-0 win, but I can't see it with Keith Stroud refereeing as well. So he hates us. So you could guarantee the penalty or a sending off at least. I would suggest tomorrow. But yeah, none of us are expecting anything out of the game. I'll be honest with you. Hopefully we can be reasonably robust in defence, but going forward, there's just nothing there, unfortunately.
And that's what we're saying before you arrived. That's why we love football. It can throw up the odd results. Every team, every dog has its day in the fight. And the home tie, for example, I don't think at that time many Town fans saw that coming. But you pulled it out. I mean, you weren't in the greatest run of form then either.
No.
And that's football. So you never know who have Town fans really. I mean, I know you're talking your side down and in your position. I can't blame you, but who's your sort of standout performers at the moment? Who's a player that Town fans perhaps should be aware of going into tomorrow night?
Well, the probably the busiest man in the park, Victor Johansson in goal. He is. Why he's still with us, I don't know. I get, to be fair, he's absolute top quality, but we kind of gave him his start in professional football, so I think he feels a little bit of loyalty to us, but he won't be with us in League One, that is for sure. So he is absolutely top drawer. He is a Premier League goalkeeper, particularly when you look around some of the keepers in the Premier League. You know, Man United's keeper, for example. You know. He's going to be up there at some stage. He's a Swedish international now, and so yeah, he's absolutely outstanding. I mentioned Cam Humphreys a couple of times. Again, the only reason Cam's with us now is because he's had 2 hamstring injuries in consecutive seasons, but he's now come back from that, and he is an absolute Rolls Royce of a defender. He really is. Again, shouldn't be with us, but I would suggest both of those will go in the summer. With a view to trying to rebuild a little bit and get some money in the coffers, but unfortunately, I almost said if we get relegated, then I mean that was a slip of the tongue, wasn't it? When we get relegated, you know the value is going to go down. We're not going to get the same that we would have done.
That is the problem.
Which you know, what can you do? You know, we need to keep him, particularly Humphreys. He needs some more game time and. We'll see how that pans out. But those are the 2 sort of standout players, really. Which, again, I guess, given our position in the league, a goalkeeper and central defender as being the standout players is probably about right.
We've all been there, mate. We've all been there where your best guy is your centre half, and he's out 6 months, and it's like who can play?
You suffered long enough, didn't you, in League One? So,
well, this is it. And I was saying before you came on, we've seen the both sides because obviously we've been in League One for a number of years, or had been in League One for a number of years, and you come down, make it look easy, and go and disappear again, and we're all wondering why can we do that? And now it's obviously flipped around. And Mike D says, question for you, how much will you get for your goalkeeper? Do you think?
Had we sold him in January? I think. I mean, it depends. You know, if we weren't Rotherham United and we were Middlesbrough or Leeds or whatever. He's a £10 million goalkeeper in anybody's money. If we get 2 or 3, I'll be surprised. You know, because of 1, who we are, and 2, you know, where we're going to be next season. So, I personally would say probably he's worth £5 million of anybody's money in today's market, without a doubt, and probably twice that if we were a bigger club or competing a little bit further up the division. And to be honest with you, likewise with Cam Humphreys, you know, again, you put him in the Middlesbrough team or a Leeds team or whoever, and he's a £5-10 million player. He absolutely is. He's so cool, calm, collected on the ball. He's got everything you need in a central defender. Pace, the works. It's just the injury issue that he's had over the last couple of seasons. But again, as I said, we'll probably end up selling them for, you know, 3 bob and a box of chocolates, but we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Life of a relegated club, unfortunately. So before I get a couple more questions from the chat, have you got anything you want to put forward, ask the Rotherham fan here in front of us, Mick?
I think for me, I think I probably asked it earlier, but I think, in your opinion, Mick, why do you feel that, you know, you have been a yo-yo club? You know, what do you sort of boil it down to?
The chairman, who again divides opinion now because of the fact that we're down at the bottom of the league. Next season, should we be up near the top of the league, he won't. You know, it's one of those football fans being as they are. He is absolutely determined that he's not going to plough millions and millions into this football club. We've been on the brink, as of many clubs. You know, I think we had altogether something like 30 points deducted over the last 20 years for financial issues. Been in administration twice, and he's not going to let that happen again. So he keeps a very, very tight rein on the purse strings, which, speaking from my personal point of view, having been through all that, I'm quite happy with. And I'm not particularly happy with the yo-yo situation, but you know, you get every other year, you get lots and lots of joy and lots of memories made, and then you know, you forget about them for a year and get fed up and depressed, and then you get a joyous year again, or we have had over the last 12 years. Whether that happens again, I don't know, but it's all about money, as you know, as we all know as football fans. And the chairman is a proper Yorkshireman. You know, he's short arms, long pockets kind of thing. But he is a very successful businessman, and he is running the club is almost in a profit. You know, and if it's not in a profit, the debt is tiny in comparison. And I think that will continue to be the case. But we pay the price. You know, the team haven't been able to train at the training ground last week, and they run up to the Watford game because it was waterlogged. You know, we've got porta cabins for the players to change in at the changing ground. You know, it's not even National League standard. But who's going to spend £2-3 million on a training ground or whatever it is? You know, whatever the cost is, when that could be going on the team or on players or on wages or whatever. So it's a bit of a catch-22. Ideally, staying up this season would have been great, because obviously the financial rewards next season with the TV money are significantly more than they have been. But, you know, sod's law for us, isn't it?
Do you think it's been more of like I suppose, I guess we're sort of guilty of saying it sometimes as well, is, you know, the journey sometimes is better than the destination for some clubs. But do you feel that, you know, realistic ambitions for Rotherham, you know, is it really more about the journey that's the enjoyment? Because obviously the previous years that you've endured has been, you know, promotion to Championship, relegation for the Championship. So do you think it's some more of the journey that you're enjoying rather than the actual destination at times?
Well, it's a really good question, because for a club like Rotherham United, who now are getting sort of 10,000-11,000 through the gate, when I first started watching, we're getting 2,000 through the gate. We're getting 10 or 11,000, and that's probably about our limit, given the proximity of Sheffield United, Sheffield Wednesday, Barnsley, Leeds. You know, we're surrounded by so-called bigger clubs. So, you know, we know who we are, and what is our destination? Is it really the Premier League? Yeah, I mean, that's everybody's dream, but that's not going to happen. Well, I mean, Luton have done it. You know, Bournemouth have done it. Ironically, Luton, Rotherham, and Bournemouth were the three clubs at the bottom of League Two. I can't remember when it was, early 2000s, with all the points deductions, and we're still the ones that are yo-yoing. But yeah, we know who we are. You know, we're not going to be able to afford that dream of the Premier League. So yeah, the journey's for all football fans. That's what it's all about, isn't it? You know, it's so few real football fans actually get to experience that Premier League. Well, I don't even know whether I want to be in there, quite frankly. I haven't seen some of it, but anyway.
Yeah, well, that's where the money is. It's where teams are sort of set up, I guess, for a certain period of time. But from the outside looking, I think it always looks rosier than perhaps it does being involved.
Yeah,
as it were. You know, where it's 3 tiers. Is it now 3 tiers? Do you think? You know, with the top 4, then you've got the middle pack, and then you've got anybody could get relegated from like to bottom to 10.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I think it's strange. Like, someone asked me, you know, if you get promoted, do you think you're ready? You know, and that's always a good question to ask. But, you know, when you actually get promoted, you know, for me, it's like at this point in time, because it's not certain we're going to get promoted, but you know, you'd sort of take being tonked, you know, most weeks, because we're probably likely to be if we did get promoted. But, you know, how long does that last? When does that novelty kind of wear off? And I think that's sometimes why, you know, the journey is actually sometimes better than the destination. And you kind of, you know, those memories. Like I remember, you know, the year 2000 when we went up, you know, to the Premier League, and yeah, we spent a season there. Obviously, got in Europe and then relegated because, you know, Sheepshanks spent money on 2 stands that we didn't really need. So, you know, all of those things come together. But, you know, it is. I think sometimes it is the journey, and for a club like Rotherham, and I guess it must be frustrating in a way to have teams like Leeds and, you know, bigger clubs like that around you, because we don't really have that. We're sort of like out in the mist, where the closest one to us is really Norwich, and even that's still a bit of a trek when you think.
And they're tiny.
Yeah, and they're not as big as us anyway. We know that, but you know, but we don't have that. We don't have that kind of. It's like London clubs as well, where they've got like surrounded by quality clubs and clubs even lower than them. So I guess it is quite frustrating for you when you see someone like a Leeds go that distance, and as a historic club, they've been great, haven't they? So,
yeah, it can be. I mean, Leeds, I kind of don't put them in the same category. I kind of put them to one side because in my head, in my experience, in my lifetime, realistically, they've been a Division 1 Premier League side, just flirting with the Championship now and again. But the likes of Sheffield Wednesday, who have been run into the ground by their chairman, and which I guess if it happened to Norwich, you'd probably feel the same way as we feel, you have a slight wry smile on your face. But the reality of it is, it's not fair, is it? I mean, that's a club. Just as a side note, they put their season tickets on sale for next year already, but they're only taking cash.
Oh, are they? I thought I saw something on social media in regards to that. But yeah,
600 quid or whatever it is. But
talking about fans, how many are you bringing down tomorrow?
15, 20? I don't know. No, I've no idea. If there's a couple
15,
of hundred
20. 15 or 20. I like that. I like that. What is the general way of following for Rotherham? Before I ask the last question.
I mean, if we were doing okay, it's not too bad. Given as a percentage of the home following, I would say around about 1,000 usually, dependent on how local it is. Down the road at Hillsborough, we took 3,000. Leeds last week, we took 600. And to be fair, we shouldn't have taken that many at 45 quid a ticket. But
there you go.
Yeah,
there you go. The way it is.
But so it's as a percentage of the home fans, it's not too bad. In reality, in comparison to other clubs, it's not great.
And it's also midweek, so and you're sitting bottom of the table, so no one can blame you. I mean, not long ago we were taking, not the greatest of away followings tucks, was it, to places? We've all been there as football fans, unless you support the top clubs, and you've all been there. But the last question of the night to you, Mick, is a score prediction, please, before I let you go.
Well, we did this on the podcast last night, and I'm going to stick with my prediction from last night, and I'm going to say it's going to be a dirty 1-0 win to us. And I know that's stupid. It's not going to happen, but I can't really go back on it now. I've said it. So,
I hope it doesn't happen. Sincerely,
obviously,
living in me. But hey, good luck for the rest of the season. Thanks for coming on, and hopefully we don't see each other again, because that would mean we've been promoted and you've stayed up.
That'll do. Yeah, you get promoted, we'll stay up.
That's fine.
Yeah, we ain't staying up anywhere.
You never know. Mick, thanks for coming on. We appreciate it. All right.
Anytime, mate. No problem. Good luck.
All the best. Look after yourself. Thank you. Mick there from New York Talk. Go and check him out. I mean, one of the questions in the chat there, Tux, was, do you think they'll get relegated? I think he answered that from sort of minute one of the appearance. We've been, as I say, we've been there as fans, haven't we? Where it's back to the wall, uphill battle, Hurst, McCarthy. I mean, you could go on with just sort of different seasons, but I was going to ask you now if your thoughts had changed, because sometimes opposition fans come on and they surprise you with their comments. But I guess he sort of talked the league form into reality, in the sense of, and put it into words. Yeah,
I think my overall sort of feeling, having spoken to him, is just feel for the bloke, to be honest with you. It's we follow our club through, thick and thin, and a lot of it being, not particularly memorable for those kind of moments of success. But, there's some of it you think that, because we had that period of, sort of dejection and, just no ambition, it actually makes these moments more sweeter in many ways. So that's why the sort of journey is sometimes better than the destination, as I said earlier. But yeah, I feel for him, to be honest with you, because it sort of reminds me of that season where, we where we got relegated from the Championship, and, we were bringing in, that January window, we were bringing in really pretty much cast-offs when you think about it. Like people like Dawkins and, players like that. So
Dawkins, Quaynard, Judge, they were the three, I think, in that window, if not one more potentially. But yeah, absolutely. And you're right. It does make it sweeter, and they'll have those moments again. Being a club like Rotherham, particularly if they were to get relegated, you always enter a season with the unknown of will it be the same as previous? But I think Rotherham have proved consistently that they are a threat in League One football, and those wins will be sweeter next year because of the lows that they're going through. And I have a wry smile these days, Tuck, when I hear the words "be careful what you wish for," because we were careful.
Yeah.
And now this is what we wish for. This is the fruition of those of that medicine, if you like. And bad recruitment can play a part in it, as Mike D said in the chat earlier. But looking at the week, Rotherham, Birmingham, 6 points on offer. What are your expectations before I ask you a score prediction for tomorrow night? In terms of, do you think we'll get 6? Would you take 4? Where are you feeling Monday night, 20-9?
I'd never take less. I've always said that. I think, if someone offers you, 2 games in a week, would you take 4 points? No. Why would you?
Good man.
Why would you surrender before you even played the game? That's the thing for me. And I just don't understand why people would do that. But albeit, you'd rather take 4 points than 0. I get that point.
Well,
but,
yeah.
When you think about that, obviously, these are very much 2 winnable games, especially Rotherham. You'd be very shocked if we didn't take something from that. Even a point would be quite shocking in a sense. But Birmingham, they're all tough games though. This is the problem. They're all tough games, and obviously we're in a way sort of punching above our weight, but in a way not, because we have got a good team and we have got a great manager. And we've just got that kind of team spirit that's taken us forward. So, it's, I can't sort of really give you an answer, but I'd take certainly 6 points. That's what I'm going for.
Okay. Would you go as far as to say you expect 6 points at this point of the season with the league table the way it reads, the form the way it reads, and what's at stake? Would you go as far as to say 2 home games against two bottom half sides? I expect 6 points.
Yeah. Well, yes, certainly for Rotherham, yes for Birmingham, because their manager's unfortunately very unwell. I know you said it earlier, but Mogga's a legend, so hopefully very quick recovery. But that'll have an effect on them. So yeah, and what's at stake? We should be winning. Should be looking to win every game now, because we can't afford to slip up, especially when you've got Southampton and Leeds doing quite remarkable things. I know they've got Prem squads, but they have come back from it, haven't they? We were quite sort of clear in terms of points at one stage. So fair play to them for putting up a fight. So yeah, we need to kick on and get the points on the board.
Yeah, and it's roles reversed from last week, because last week obviously we played the Wednesday, and Leeds and Southampton, or certainly Leeds, I think, played Tuesday. They set they set the marker. So we go into the game Wednesday, I would say with pressure, but you're aware of what they've done. You're aware of what you need to do. Now it's reversed. We go into tomorrow night against Rotherham. It's our turn now to set the marker against the Leeds side that have to travel to Leicester. Now they might travel to Leicester and win, but they have to travel to Leicester, who have been by far the best side so far at this level. And you can now set their pressure. You can now make them aware that Town are breathing down the back of their necks. And don't let them off the hook. Don't do anything silly tomorrow night that lets Leeds go into Leicester with a little bit less pressure than perhaps they're feeling. But it's that world we're starting to enter into now, isn't it? Where it's you slip up, we take advantage, or if you slip up, we can breathe a sigh of relief.
But that's the sort of point I've got in my mind a little bit, is that I think sometimes we like to be.
They're at home. My mistake. They're at home to Leicester, but either way, they're playing Leicester.
Yeah,
I mean,
but my worry is sometimes that I feel like we prefer to be the chasers rather than the chased.
Yeah,
that's what I sort of feel like sometimes.
The hunt, not the hunted.
Yeah, and I feel like we're better at being the people that chase it and hunt it rather than the hunted.
There he is. There he is. Paul Lambert. What a turn of phrase. as we slid down the league table. There's those times we were talking about there. Emerson says 6 points. Emerson had one brief on Saturday. That was to go to Swansea and get 3 points and bring them back, and he did. So Emerson, well done, son. And he says 6 points to come this week, as does Colin. Of course, Colin says 6 points. Colin would say 9 points out of 6 available. Is that
just a quick question? Has Colin ever said that we would lose a game? Ever?
That is a great question. That is I mean, Colin,
has he ever gone into a game where he thinks, not so sure about this one?
You honestly, you could stick Man United Champions League triple-winning side in their prime against Ipswich Town Football Club under Paul Lambert's relegation side, and Colin would think we're going to win 3-1. I swear it, because he's that confident, that optimistic, that positive about his football club. But he can say it. He can let us know. Okay, so we are coming to the end of the show. We're going to have a score prediction now. Tux wants 6 points out of the week. I expect 6 points out of the week. We'll see where it goes. Paul says, I think we're disappointed if there's anything other than 6 over the next 2 games. Need to make the game in hand count. Absolutely. And Andrew says, good chance to increase the goal difference. It is, but I'll take a 1-0. Because 1-0, 6-0, goal difference is great, but there's all 3 points to play for. Phil says 3-0 Town. Get your score predictions in now, please. David says 2-0. The Cruncher says 2-0. Mark Tuxford, before I read any more out, what do you say?
Well, as he's on the screen, you agree with the legend that is the Crunch, and I think 2-0.
2-0. All right, beautiful. 3-0 says Colin. 2-0 says Emerson. 3-0. Lots of positivity coming through now. Metal Jace 4-0. Maybe the Rotherham fan has swayed them, because early part it was, I don't know, I'm a bit nervy. It could be a 1-0. Now we're suddenly seeing 6-0s. You know, a la Crew at home. 4-0 says Paul F. Paul F. Lots of positivity. Absolutely love it. Don't forget we are partnered with Stone Market Osteopaths. Head to Stone Market Osteopaths. Freddie's the gov there on 01449 613 633 for all your osteopath, your physiotherapy needs. I went there today, Tux. That's why I'm so raging at 10 to 9 at night. You know what I mean? Like, I'm buzzing. I could run a marathon in my sleep, because you know it's osteopath. It isn't miracle work, but I feel good. I feel good, man. Less clicks.
Did you get the? Have you ever seen the Only Fools and Horses episode where Uncle Albert gets the? I think I can't remember what it's called now. Something about it's the Zappa 3000, whatever it's called, and he puts it on his back and he does the dance. Have you seen that?
Do you know what? I must have seen that, because I think I've seen every single episode of Only Fools and Horses about 1 million times. I mean, who hasn't hung over on a Sunday morning on Dave? But I can't recall it. I'm going to have to go on YouTube that now straight away after the show, because I can't in my mind think of that. But I must have seen that, because it's such a quality show. That how could you?
Best show ever made. Yeah.
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah, absolutely. Just as Stone Osteopaths is, for me, the greatest osteopath service in Stone Market. Suffolk, the world, the universe, and everything else in between. 01449 613 633. Tell Freddie the Gov has sent you. Adrian says, Gov is good for my mental health. Adrian, I appreciate that. Thank you ever so much. And talking football is good for mine. And I'm really pleased you get stuff out of the show. I honestly, thank you very much for your kind comment. Thank you for David for the £50 super chat. Tux has gone for a win. I'm going to go for a win. I'm not going to say how much by what score, because I don't want to.
I thought you were going to go with something else then. I honestly thought you was going to be. I'm going to go for a draw here.
Oh, fuck, no. I mean, if I had any doubt in my mind, the Rotherham fans, like, he's sold me. Like, but I feel sorry for saying Town might win. I'm a Town podcast, and I feel sorry for saying Town might win. He's done me a right, Kipper. They're really like, I feel genuinely sorry for him.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I think Town might win. I don't know. Let's say, for example, 3-1. Oh, I feel awful. Poor Mick. You know, poor Mick. But wait, what a great show, Tux. It's been great to have you on. Great to talk with you. Been a while through the illnesses, etc. But thank you so much. Thank you for watching at home. We're live tomorrow on the Match Reaction Show, so please do join me on the full-time whistle. But until then, enjoy the rest of your Monday night. Count down the minutes and the hours, because Town are back at home tomorrow night, and we'll see you then. Adios.
You make me smile when I think of you. If I am down or when I am blue, I can't get enough. Hopeless lover. You make me happy, I feel so fine. Oh, how I wish that you were mine. I can't get enough. Hopeless lover. I woke up all soaked in sweat, weird chills running down my neck. I'm going crazy from just the thought of you.